Program Director, thank you very much for that very kind introduction. It appeases me and it gives me great pleasure that I was considered to speak with you today. Good afternoon, colleagues, peers, the faculty members, distinguished guests, and ultimately you, the alumni. What an occasion. I think it's preceded by many sleepless nights, long days, and I'm sure that many of you have wondered, why did you embark on this journey this time of your life and not earlier? But it is also an honor to be able to attend a graduation ceremony during our current circumstances. Many institutions have opted to have just virtual graduations, but it's a special time, and it is a day that you should be proud of. In preparing the address, I asked myself, what would you like me to tell you? I mean, you've done this on your own. You didn't need me to motivate you throughout the period. So I'm asking for your indulgence, and I'm thanking you in advance for it. So it's a bit of a life journey in terms of my contextual reality throughout this period. All of us that's just sitting here were very fortunate and blessed to be able to wake up on the 1st of January 2020. And I think we're all engaged in an old Babylonian tradition where we decided on a specific goal for this year, which we now refer to as New Year's resolutions. And we dived into it because we had chutzpah. It's 1st of January, we're all going to go, and I'm going to use a typical example, we're going to go to gym. We're going to lose weight. We're going to do all these healthy things, and we all know by February it starts to fade. But I don't think for a nanosecond did any of us believe that something so catastrophic would happen that it would shake us to our very core. Something that would shift our entire being in terms of how we think, how we perceive things, and how we live. In all honesty, no matter how amount of studies or learnings I've done, it didn't prepare me for it. But the first 21 days, for me, was very comfortable. I was fortunate that I lived in an environment that was conducive. I had space. I shared it with someone I really liked. I found out during this period that other people actually don't like other people, but they live with them. But I liked the person I shared my space with. I also had my wonderful pets that kept me sane and kept me going. So to me, it wasn't an uncomfortable situation. It was very quiet in the mornings and the evenings, and for some reason I thought that maybe the birds were in lockdown as well because I couldn't hear them chirping early in the morning. They also started later. And even though I worked remotely, because I was fortunate that we could go online immediately and we could start working and remain working, there was a sense of calm. I had a sense of calm. And I could do a lot of introspection during those first 21 days. And I said to myself, when it's over, I will be kinder to myself. I will instill a sense of kindness and a sense of gentleness when I speak to myself, when I conduct myself. Bearing in mind, I thought it was only going to be 21 days, right? But I was also not divorced from the absolute dire circumstances that other people were thrown into. And the fact that there were anguish and there were brutal loneliness suffered by so many that couldn't get to family members before the time. My mom herself was alone in the Eastern Cape, and I couldn't relocate her before that time. So I understand that, and I felt a sense of pity for the people that couldn't share this period with their loved ones. It also exposed a lot of hidden and embarrassed social ills. Some of those ills seemed so entrenched that it almost was normalized and we didn't see them anymore. And through this period, all of those elements were exposed. Then it came the realization that these 21 days might turn into a 90-day life-altering moment. I might have to live like this for the rest of my life because it was extended. And I felt anguish. Not so much for me because I was still comfortable in my own skin and my own space, but anguish for everyone else that was not able to do that. Imagine solitary living and the absence of touch, the longing for company, people, and the stark horror and very real issue of abuse that so many suffered because of confinement in movement. And because I have a passion and my business is education, I realized that this period might just eviscerate the progress we've made to ensure equal access to qualifications or to education, any form of education, because so many learners and students were not able to continue learning, to continue progress, to continue studying, because either of where they were placed, because of situations, and because of means. And I quote Horace Mann that says, "Education beyond all other devices of human origin is a great equalizer of the conditions of men. It is the balance wheel of the social machinery." So the mere notion that our contextual reality will put the already unfortunate few so far back was unthinkable for me. But it was also during this very traumatic time that we saw a rebirth of social action and social activity and civil activity, and the need for the societies to come together and proclaim that they are not going to stand for certain injustices, that they are no longer going to be partner, or they no longer condone certain ills that society has been practicing over the period. Movements such as Black Lives Matter all of a sudden gathered great awareness. It was always there, but no one knew about it. And amazingly, I refer to Colin Kaepernick, who was an NFL player. In 2016, he took the knee during the US national anthem. And because no one really thought that it is real injustice, or no one really I was almost going to say something bad, no one cared that much, he was fired. But now we have prominent sports celebrities, we've got actors, we've got academics, we've got politicians supporting these causes, looking at it and trying to unite society and redress social ills and so forth. It is truly also inspiring that in a time of such enormous anxiety and fear, the human spirit triumphs and unites nations and people across the world. And how in the absence of certain necessities, innovation is born. We are almost forced into agility. We have to automate, and often we have to find ourselves defer our reality because the situation demands that of us. Business also had to re-engineer operations for sustainability, but always to ensure that there's ultimate inclusion of everyone in society. It is also inevitable that with such change comes casualties and consequence. It is then to you, the remarkable few, that society turns for solutions to the new challenges, for direction, and often to lead the path to new and unventured paths. You will experience many firsts. Many of them will be great, but some of them will only be lessons for growth. This is a great responsibility, one I am confident that you will carry with pride and honor. It is therefore up to you to find a course that is worth supporting and pursuing for the betterment of lives and livelihood. But the one thing you will never be able to do as an alumni is able to say you can't, because you've proven that you can. Your determination, perseverance, intrinsic motivation, and discipline are just some of the elements that contributed to your success. In closing, I truly hope you relished every moment of the past couple of years and the journey you embarked upon, as they represent memories and moments that are timeless and not easily replicated. And hopefully the heights you achieve this time around will inspire in you the search for your next great adventure and your continuous journey of discovery. Graduates, congratulations, well done, and especially in our current circumstances, you are truly remarkable.